The Phantom Tollbooth, chapters 9 through 12, by Norton Juster, video by Hannah and Ashley. Chapter 9, It's All How You Look in Things.
As Milo, Talk, and the Humbug set off to the castle in the air, they entered a forest. In this forest was Point of View, where a boy named Alec Banks stood in the air. In his family, people grew down. Alec always had the same point of view, but he could see through things, just as his mother looks after things and his brother sees beyond things. In his point of view, changing point of view was inconvenient. Milo learns that things are different depending on your point of view. If you have a chapter book, you may think it's small, but a 5-year-old will think it's huge.
Chapter 10, A Colorful Symphony.
Alec leads Milo, Talk, and the Humbug through the forest of sight, and they think that they are lost. So, Milo and Talk visit 4 people. The world's smallest giant, tallest midget, thinnest fat man, and fattest thin man, who all turn out to be one completely average person. Once they left that house, they arrived at Illusions, which just turned out to be a mirage. Within Illusions was reality, where everyone looked at their feet instead of the area around them, and eventually it all disappeared. Just like going camping without electricity and indoor plumbing, Milo learns to pay attention to what he has before it's gone. After reality, they arrived at the orchestra, only they provide a spectrum of color instead of sound. Chroma, the conductor, instructed Milo to wake him up at 5:23 for the sunrise.
Chapter 11, Discord and Din.
Milo wakes up to a colorless world. He walks over to wake up Chroma, but then he realizes this is his only chance to conduct the orchestra, and after a minute of considering what to do, walks up to the conductor's stand and begins to move his hands the way Chroma had done the day before. At first, this seems fine, but as more players join in and play faster, it wreaks chaos. Finally, Milo stops and calls up Chroma. He brings the now colorless forest back to life. Soon, they say goodbye, receiving a telescope, and then head down the street in the little car. When they come to a stop, they find what looks like a circus wagon. They knock on the door to ask how far they needed to go, and heard horrible sounds, like dishes crashing and nails on a chalkboard. When someone answered the door, he immediately welcomed them in. The man who welcomed them in introduced himself as Dr. Discord. Dr. Discord asked if he had heard many different odd sounds, which of course he hadn't, and then showed him a bottle that sounded like an avalanche. He found more bottles with sounds like alarms, crashes, booms, and many other horrible sounds. When he finished grabbing the sounds he needed, he explained he was a specialist in noises of all kinds. He grabbed one of the bottles and opened it, letting a bluish smog out that formed a creature Dr. Discord introduced as Din, who was his assistant. He said that the Din was living in an empty can and completely alone until the doctor found him, and that the pair now spread wonderfully horrible noises. When Milo explained they were going to Digitopolis, Dr. Discord and Din's faces got very concerned. The doctor explained they would have to go through the Valley of Sound. Milo has learned that it's best to do what you are told. You don't know what will happen if you don't.
Chapter 12, The Silent Valley.
The car passed a stone gateway, and it changed. Now it was silent. Not only was it silent when you tried to talk, but also you couldn't hear insects buzz or the sound of the wind. They soon approached a crowd of people with large signs protesting silence. When the car stopped, a few people came up with the signs. They wrote that the soundkeeper was upset when new settlers brought new sounds. It soon became hard to find nice sounds, and soon people stopped trying. I lost where I was. He explained that Dr. Discord and Din soon came to town with his medicines and cured everyone of everything but sound. And so the soundkeeper decided to make it silent. Din the writer asked for help. Milo agreed by asking what he could do to help, and they said go to the soundkeeper's fortress. Milo went to the soundkeeper's fortress and found the soundkeeper herself. After saying he came to tour the vaults where the sounds were made, the soundkeeper walked him through the castle until they reached the vault. Soon they were in the room sounds were made. She also showed him what some sounds like claps look like. Later, Milo asked the soundkeeper why she wouldn't release them, and she said, if they don't make the sounds I like, they won't make any at all. After she explained that Milo was about to protest, but the first word was still on the tip of his tongue and he was going to keep it. Milo learns to pay attention to what you have. You never know when it will be gone.